Welcome back. Hope everybody doing awesome. And in this video, we continue exploring the SAP EWM warehouse orders. Let's have a look into the system and check the main fields and see if indeed the warehouse tasks are assigned to the warehouse orders and how we can display that in our favorite transaction, the SAP EWM Monitor. Let's have a look. So we are in SAP, we're in SAP S4 with EWM. If I want to go to the monitor, I can go through the menu, logistics, EWM monitoring, scwm/monitor/n/scwm/mon is exactly the transaction. Double click, we enter our monitor. I'm still going to be using the EWM warehouse number KT01 as in the previous videos, and our monitor will be the standard SAP monitor. I see here I have a reduced view. Of course, I can show the hidden nodes. Do I see the warehouse orders? That's my main point. Yes, they're right here. Great. So what we can do, we can double click the warehouse orders and search for some warehouse orders in the system. I can search for a lot, but actually I'm only going to check the open warehouse orders. I think I have one that is still open to be executed, so I'm going to remove all the ticks of other statuses of our warehouse orders, and I'm going to only search for the open warehouse orders. Open means we still need to do it, so someone needs to confirm this warehouse order. Canceled means we were supposed to do it, but we didn't do it in the end, and the activity is canceled. Locked means someone decided to lock these warehouse orders and not enable it for execution. So it still needs to be completed, but no one can do it because it was locked. Confirmed means it was completed, so the activity was done. And warehouse orders in process mean someone is actually doing it right now. So let's take to the open warehouse orders. Let's search. You search here, bottom right, execute, and we see that we have one warehouse order. And as always, I like to display one single line in the full screen. I'm actually going to click on the form view, but just before I move into the details of this warehouse order 516, I just want to let you know that this warehouse orders, if we check below, there's nothing right now, but we can deep dive into the tasks assigned to this warehouse order. And indeed, if I click on the warehouse task button, you can see that I have one warehouse task, task number 582, that is currently assigned to the warehouse order. So it's true, the tasks are assigned to warehouse orders. So warehouse order higher level, warehouse task lower level. Okay, I'm not going to discuss the warehouse tasks right now in this video. I'm just going to focus on the warehouse order, and therefore let me put full screen and let's focus together on this warehouse order. Opening form view and displaying the entire warehouse order full screen. I'm going to make it a bit bigger so we can properly read everything. Now it's warehouse order number 516, so this is a unique number with which we can always identify this specific warehouse order. There's the warehouse order creation rule. I'm actually planning to do another video on the creation rule, so stick with me, but it's basically what decided that this specific warehouse task here below gets assigned to this warehouse order. Why only one task? Why not more tasks? And why this task to this warehouse order? Like, how was the warehouse order created? All of that is defined in the warehouse order creation rule, and the def is the default warehouse order creation rule. I'll discuss it more in detail in another video. We have the warehouse order status. It's blank, but actually I just discussed a moment ago, blank means open. It means that we still need to process this warehouse order. There's a queue internal. The queue is a way to group different warehouse orders in different queues. So a queue is basically a list of warehouse orders that need to be executed, and usually depending on the area of the warehouse where you're working, you want all the warehouse orders to be assigned to the queue of people working in that area, so that if I'm Tom, from our previous video, Tom is a warehouse operator, and I want to ask the system, hey, what's the next thing I need to do? I might be doing that by queue. So if I want to work in the queue of internal movements, in this case, that's how it's divided. It's all customizable. I will just say, hey, is there any internal movement to be done? Queue internal, and the system will check and potentially assign to me the next warehouse order in the queue internal. We'll talk more about the resources and actual execution in RF in one of the next videos. The warehouse order creation category is here, so you can categorize how the warehouse order was created. The activity area 8040, this is from the warehouse tasks. You know, our warehouse is divided in activity areas, and depending on which physical area I'm working, I could be assigned different activity areas, and that helps me organize the activities and assign the right warehouse order to the right queue. Wave, in case we're using waves, I'm not going to talk about waves now, but if this warehouse order was created from a wave, you would have the wave number here and the wave type here. And header warehouse process type, that's the main warehouse process type. As you maybe know, the warehouse process types are more linked on the task level, but here you can see the header warehouse process type. Now, one more important thing that is here is the fact that you see we have flagged contains warehouse tasks. Why? Because actually a warehouse order, well, most of the time, 90+% of the time, it will contain tasks. It will contain activities to be executed. And that's also what I explained in the previous video when I said a warehouse order contains warehouse tasks, one or more warehouse tasks. The reality is that you could also create physical inventory documents and ask the operators to count in RF, which means they will be able to have a physical inventory document inside a warehouse order, and when they select that warehouse order, they will be counting based on what needs to be counted in that specific physical inventory document. Therefore, big news, not only you can have tasks in warehouse orders, you can also have physical inventory documents in warehouse orders. But that's a totally separate topic. I would say more in the area of physical inventory. We're not going to discuss it today. And also you could have, in some specific scenarios, a higher level warehouse order, lower level warehouse orders, and then tasks within those lower level warehouse orders. Again, a more complex scenario, and this is basically saying that this warehouse order contains other warehouse orders. Great. We also have the number of warehouse tasks in the warehouse order. Indeed, it's one. We saw it earlier down in the monitor. We have, in case we split the warehouse order, so the split is when you have a warehouse order and you decide some of the activities, some of the tasks, to actually split them and put them in a brand new warehouse order. So if this was a split warehouse order, so the result of a split, we would have the original warehouse order here. If this was a multi-level warehouse order, so warehouse order containing other warehouse orders, we will have higher level warehouse order here if this was a lower level, or we would have the number of lower level warehouse orders here if again this was the higher level warehouse order. All right, well, a lot of stuff, and here on the right as well we have the total weight of the warehouse order. So you basically take all the tasks, you sum all the weights, this is the total weight to be carried in this warehouse order. The same way total volume and total processing time, not often used but can be very, very helpful in estimating how long it's going to take to execute the warehouse order. The warehouse order log number is a unique number with which you can find this warehouse order in the log, so it can be useful if you're searching in the log for the creation of this warehouse order. The starting point is potentially the bin that is to be used as a starting point. Split, if this was the result of a split, and hazardous substance, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's if we have any hazardous substance in this warehouse order, this will be flagged. Okay, I didn't use it in a project yet. Great. And what about times? We have, of course, everything tracked. This is SAP software. Everything is tracked pretty much in detail. Which SAP user created the warehouse order? When was it created? Who is the processor? This is used in labor management. I'm going to leave it at that. The resource that is executing or executed the warehouse order, the starting date and time, and the latest starting date and time. This is a really important field. We're going to discuss it more in one of the next videos when talking about priority and assignment of the warehouse order to the resources. Of course, we have the last change, who changed it, when it was changed, who confirmed, who executed the warehouse order, and when it was confirmed. And we also have a planned completion time, so by when do we plan to finish this warehouse order. And here it's some calculation, the actual execution time and the planned execution time. Great, wow. A little bit of a marathon. As I always say, I don't often do this like field by field explanations, also because I don't find them that useful, because you get a lot of information, but then you stop and you start wondering, hey Milos, but I'm not going to remember all the whatever 30 fields you explained. What should I remember? What are the most important fields that I need to be aware of the warehouse order? Well, first and foremost, of course, the number. The warehouse order has a unique number. You need to know it. Absolutely, the warehouse order creation rule. We'll discuss it in detail in one of the next videos. The queue, because this is important for the assignment of the warehouse order to the resources. And I would say that the other important things, well, definitely the latest starting date and time. And of course, you just need to know that you can track all the times, you know, when it was created, when it was changed, when it was confirmed, so everything is visible. And of course, Milos, of course, the status, okay, right here. Okay, so if you want to forget about the other fields, feel free to do so until you need them. But what you need to remember is the warehouse order number, how it was created, the creation rule, what's the status currently of the warehouse order, which queue it is assigned to, and what's the latest starting date. That's going to give you prioritization, as we will discuss in one of the next videos, okay? And of course, all the dates and times. That's about it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this little journey in the warehouse order fields. In the next video, I want to talk about the logging of the creation of the warehouse order and the warehouse order creation rule, because one of the challenges when you're setting up a new project is, hey Milos, it's all great, you know, theory, warehouse order, task, but how do I set up the rule? How do I decide which task to assign to which warehouse order? And how can I configure that? So those are some of the things we'll discuss a little bit more in the next video. We're going to stay still at user level detail. We're going to talk about logging and checking which warehouse order creation rule was used to create your warehouse order, but it's going to be super, super important to understand if the rules you set up in the system actually work or not. Looking forward to seeing the next video. Until next time, have a great day and see you soon. Bye.